And so to the money. Where's Donald Trump's money? Russ Buettner is an investigative reporter for the New York Times and did such magnificent work earlier on in which he got to grips with Donald Trump's finances. So Caitlin was just sort of suggesting that he will be able to raise at least enough for the bond for the lower amount. But how precarious are his finances now?
Well, as recently as a couple of years ago, Richard, he was quite low on cash. He had enough to sort of operate, but he's always had several businesses that require constant infusions of cash, including his golf courses in Scotland and Ireland. So he tends to run lower every year than he was the prior year. Last year, he had some influxes. He sold a money-losing hotel in Washington, D.C. He gave up his rights to a golf course in New York City. And he had a refinancing of a passive investment that he had. Those combined brought him about $350 million, give or take. But he's had some hard hits since then. He had to pay some taxes on that money. And then recently he had to pay another bond of $92 million in a defamation case here in New York. So that brings him down, if those calculations are correct, roughly to around $250. And this bond will cost him $200. So he's getting down to the range where he's very close to what he needs just to keep operating his businesses.
And yet he said he's still a very wealthy man, worth billions, and I suppose his underlying assets are worth billions. But, Ross, does it feel like it's an empire teetering?
It's always been an empire teetering on some level. You know, our analysis of 20 years of his tax returns that we got showed that he was really supporting what appeared to be his businesses with entertainment income that he received. He received close to $400 million over about 15 years from being on The Apprentice, and then all the licensing and endorsement deals that came from that. That money dried up by about 2018 when he was in the White House. And so since then, his businesses haven't really been generating enough, it doesn't seem, to support themselves. And it looks to us that's why he unloaded his hotel in Washington, D.C., because that had required about $7 to $10 million a year to keep afloat. So he's shrinking his way towards staying alive, basically.
You know, in all of these cases, you always wait for the unexpected, which actually has the effect that's greater. So, for instance, we're all mega focused on these criminal cases, which could lock him up, etc. But it was a bond that nearly took him down for 400 and something million, which he's still going to have to pay eventually, appeals, whatever. What should we keep our eye on now? I always remember, you know, Watergate, Deep Throat, follow the money, follow the money.
It's a complicated kind of equation with Donald Trump, because you're right that he has threats to his liberties with all of these criminal cases. It doesn't seem likely that any of those will really be both adjudicated and fully appealed by the time of the election in November. So it could be that he sort of escaped some of that. This one that's going first in New York City about this case involving the hush money paid to Stormy Daniels, the adult film actress, that could be the first one to render a guilty verdict, but it has sort of the least potential impact on it in terms of a criminal sentence. But I think you're right. With Donald Trump, it's always best to follow the money. That's his real identity. And you have to wonder what would happen if these threats sort of continue and what once appeared to be a large empire worldwide sort of evaporates in some level.
Feel free to say you've absolutely no idea, because I don't think anybody perhaps does, but you may have a better guess than most of us. Do we have any idea what Donald Trump's legal bills look like? If you think about it, running not only all his normal legal woes, but these 4 massively expensive cases with multiple lawyers from top firms.
Yeah, we've seen right now the Republican Party is covering a lot of those bills, and they've been tens of millions of dollars on a regular basis. That's not coming out of his personal wealth. If it was, I think what you're getting to is exactly right, Richard. He would be flat out broke. He would have to be selling things just to cover his legal costs. So I think like that's a hard thing to assess. And as long as he has the benefit of the Republican Party backing him, he's going to be okay. But these cases are going to generate, clearly from what we've seen, in excess of $100 million in legal fees.
Good grief. Nice work if you can get it. Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful. And your reporting and your analysis and your investigations are absolutely superb. Thank you for taking time to talk to me tonight. I'm grateful. Thank you.